Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Big news coming out today about, I guess you can say, three events that are going down WrestleMania weekend. This has to do with WrestleMania Access. It has to do with the NXT show and also WrestleMania itself. This is a big deal. It honestly, sheds a whole lot of light on the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, a match that honestly doesn't really have a whole lot of buzz, a whole lot of appeal to it. Last year, it was sort of looked at, what is this match going to mean? Like, we've seen that Andre the Giant is on this big trophy. Is the trophy going to mean anything in the long run? Is this sort of like a guaranteed shot to put somebody from the mid card into the main event scene? When you looked out at the guys that were on the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, nobody really jumped off as this is the guy who's going to win it. You saw a few people in there that you thought really deserved it. Some people thought that it was named after Andre the Giant. It would make a lot of sense for Big Show to win it, but Cesaro ended up winning it, and in the long run, his career didn't really go up. He had a big Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania, and you can honestly say that about right there is when his year cooled off, and we never really saw him reach the point that we thought he was going to do. This year, when you look at it, you've got Miz, you've got Damian Sandow, a tag team that's on the outs. We've seen Sandow take the crashing finale from Miz. He took the finisher on Monday Night Raw. I didn't get a chance to check out SmackDown, so I don't know if they're still together or if they're into a bitter feud now already. But my guess is that something's gonna happen where Miz gets dumped out by Sandow. You've also got there's a few guys in there. Sheamus hasn't made his debut. Some people think that Sheamus might get added into the Intercontinental Battle Royal, or Intercontinental ladder match. I apologize. I think that Sheamus is going to win this whole deal. But, with the NXT show, taking up Saturday night, the same night of it's Friday night. The same night of Ring of Honor, Kaiju Big Battle. It almost threw a big kink into my plans for the whole weekend, but I decided to stick with the tickets that I had, and knew that we were going to have a fun time. But WrestleMania Access every year, when I was putting over that in the videos that I put up today, I talked about how they run the NXT matches, sort of, it's in the back of the room that they normally do at most of those years, and you're sort of maneuvering around them. You can always hear the matches, through the sound system that's throughout the whole place. You can see them from most of the lines that you'll be in, but you can definitely hear the music. You can definitely hear the ring announcer when there's a winner. You can hear the promos almost from anywhere inside of the I'm trying to think of what they call that sort of place, the convention center, I guess you can say. But this year, they've really top-notched it. I talked about going to WrestleMania Access and being in the lines. I was trapped WrestleMania Access on Saturday last year. I ended up attending 3 sessions on Saturday. I was there early in the morning because I had a ticket to meet Hulk Hogan. I ended up buying a ticket to go in the mid-afternoon because there was nothing else that was really calling my name, as well as the nighttime. I had a ticket to meet Ric Flair that night, so I was sort of booked to be there. I sort of felt bad because I never saw the sun that day. I got to access to get into line for the VIP. I believe I left my hotel at 6, probably got there before 6:30. Didn't get out of the New Orleans, the convention center there until right before the Hall of Fame, basically, and I don't remember it being light outside. So honestly, on Saturday, all I saw was the lights of the convention center. I never even got to see the sun for even a moment. But I was critical because they ran NXT shows, but it was the same show each day. I saw the same matches happen 3 times, and that day it ended up being Charlotte wrestle against Paige. They would come out, they would wrestle for a minute. Paige would get the very fast win. Another match would happen. Charlotte would come back out, pleading for another match, saying that she wasn't ready. At that point, Paige would come out and beat Charlotte in about a 3-minute match. There was other people that were on the show. I can remember watching Emma because that theme got so much into my head last year at that thing. I wasn't really watching NXT. I was sort of paying attention when they had to have guys like Rob Van Dam or sort of bigger names. Sheamus went down there one time and showed up on the show. It was sort of like a plea to sort of get you to see what these guys were doing down there, and I would check those out. But this was my first time really seeing these people. I didn't really know. But this year, since the specials come out, and I've been watching the specials, and then I sort of realized, you're not really spending any time watching TNA Impact anymore. You might as well spend some time watching NXT. You make plans to watch this every Friday, Wednesday, and since then, really, I've been really into this. And this year at Access, it's going to be a special treat. They're going to make those matches actually mean something. They're going to have Access sessions. There's one on Thursday, one on Friday, 3 on Saturday, and I believe 1 on Sunday. And at all of those shows, they're going to be running an NXT tournament, and the tournament is going to be for the grand prize of one of the NXT competitors to get one of the spots in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. When I was talking about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, I said more than likely some people from NXT would be in there because so many of these guys from the mid-card were being put into the Intercontinental Championship ladder match that there would have to be there's no set number. It's not like the Royal Rumble where there's 30 people, or that one year there was 40. I mean, they could put a dozen in there. They can put 2 dozen. Last year there was 31. I don't think anybody's going to feel ripped off about what's going down in there, but I know last year when I thought about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, I was thinking maybe we'd see Chris Jericho make his return to the WWE, and on the Wrestlemania stage the lights would go out and the jacket would all light up and you get a really cool entrance to come out. Maybe Rob Van Dam, we get to hear his theme and he'd come running down to join there because it was heavily rumored that RVD would join, and that ended up not coming to be. But when you think about there's going to be one person from NXT that's going to get that shot, it sort of means that this is going to mean something. And honestly, in my mind, we've seen people from NXT come up to Monday Night Raw trying to put over the fact that there's an NXT special that week. We've seen Adrian Neville. We've seen Sami Zayn involved in a tag team match. We've seen, Sasha Banks. No, I don't think Sasha's done it yet, but I know that we've seen Charlotte, because Charlotte lost to Natalya, and people were very critical of the fact that, Charlotte was wrestling in a championship match, and, she got called up to, Monday Night Raw and lost so fast that it was like, why are we going to go make sure we go check out Charlotte when she's the diva of the future, when she just wrestled Natalya and lost in about a minute in Monday Night Raw? It didn't really make a lot of sense. But honestly, in my mind, people look at those matches as they're not really debuts. It's just sort of a way to sort of put them up, much like when, a baseball team is outside of contention, or it's just like the last few games of the season. They'll bring a guy up from AAA to spend, the last few weeks of the season trying to see how they hit against actual major league competition. Those stats, because they don't play in enough games, they count in their career numbers, but it doesn't count as like their rookie season. So like you can go up and you can play for a month and then come back the next year, and if you make the major league team, you're eligible to win the Rookie of the Year award. It's not like they count those stats as your rookie season. You're just trying to get some experience and try to see what you're going to do. That makes sense when you talk about that. When Triple H does his conference calls, he talks about the fact that, that wasn't really a debut. When, Charlotte gets called up, her debut is going to mean something. You're definitely going to know about it, and that's when she's definitely going to be going up to the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown roster, and, she might come back for a special appearance, but NXT is done for her. There's no more developmental along the way unless there's an injury or something drastic happens along the way. But when you get a WrestleMania debut, there's no turning back. I know that the names that they've put out there basically is, the 4 of the big names that really draw people to NXT, and that's Adrian Neville, the former NXT champion. Of course, he beat Bo Dallas on the first special inside of the ladder match, went on a good little run before losing the belt to Sami Zayn. You've got Finn Balor, one of the big stars, Prince Devitt, coming over from New Japan and a lot of overseas competition, a guy that, a lot of people believe that there's a lot of hype on this guy coming up there. Tyler Breeze, somebody who's shot up and had, very, very great matches. We saw him get into the single match against Adrian Neville. We saw him go in the Fatal 4-Way um, that involved Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, him, and also Tyson Kidd. And then also is going to be Hideo Itami. There's been a lot of negative things about Itami since he's joined. I think a lot of people know that he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Of course, CM Punk took the GTS from him. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, took the kicks that you see him do inside of the ring. But a lot of people are thinking that WWE is really trying to get into Itami's head. He's not really wrestling his style anymore, and they're really taking that away from him, and he's sort of becoming just another guy. A lot of people are referring to him as just another Yoshitatsu, and maybe another Tachi Michinoku, somebody guys has a whole bunch of talent, but WWE doesn't want them to be what they are. You're signing these guys to come in from Japan because they're such a big name, and you see a lot of potential in them, but then you're taking away everything that they made them special. Itami really hasn't had a bad match in my mind. I watched the matches, like the match that he had against Tyler Breeze, and then I go listen to like the Brian and Vinny show or the Wrestling Observer, and hear how bad these matches are, and how he's just not really clicking inside the American style of wrestling, and I just am crazy. I like it, and I don't see anything wrong with it. In this tournament, I know that we don't know all the names. We've only got 4 of the names that are confirmed, and this is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4-day tournament involved over 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 shows. They might even count the NXT house show that they're going to be doing. Maybe they're doing tapings. I'm only thinking that maybe they're going to be filming this in some way because they have the Access, WWE Access or WWE Wrestlemania Today shows that they're going to be putting. Maybe they'll put those onto there. I know that once they film these, and if there's no way they can put them onto the actual NXT show, because by the time NXT comes around, even if they show them on the next episode, they're going to be out of date because everybody will know who won the tournament, because everybody who's watching NXT is going to watch WrestleMania and know that they competed inside of it. I know that they just ran a tournament inside of NXT, and at that tournament, Finn Balor ended up getting the win. Of course, there was the great matches that Tommy wrestled against Breeze, Tommy wrestled against Balor, and they played up the fact that the reason why Balor was even in NXT is because Tommy, brought him in because of the fact that he kept on losing to the Ascension. They kept kicking his ass, so he called his friend and brought him over from Japan, and that was sort of the way that they brought Devitt in. But Balor is the number 1 contender already. He has the match set with Kevin Owens. That match has already been taped. If you watched last week's NXT with Owens going up against Alex Riley, you saw the fact that they really used that fact of Owens killing Riley and Devitt coming out to make the save, really hyping up the fact. But if you noticed, that match isn't even on one of the NXT specials. It's just on a normal episode of NXT that's going to be going down this week on Wednesday. Big match. I was hoping I was going to be able to see this, but now that means I'm not going to even get to have a chance to see it until after we come back from San Francisco. So maybe I can put that on, and maybe we can not watch a bad WCW pay-per-view that night. But because of the fact they're hot-shotting this Owens versus Balor match, because of the fact that I think that whoever is going up to debut on WrestleMania, I don't think is coming back. I'm thinking that more than likely, in my mind, that it has to be Finn Balor getting the win and moving on and joining the WWE roster. He doesn't get the win against Owens. He doesn't, get to be champion, but I don't think you have to be NXT champion in order to move up to the main roster. Yeah, once Bo Dallas finally lost, he moved up. Biggie Langston got moved up when he was champion. Roman Reigns got moved up. No, it wasn't Roman Reigns. He was never NXT champion. It was Rollins. I knew it was somebody from the Shield. It was before I was watching, so I apologize. But, those guys got moved up when they were champ. Once Neville lost, there was the rumors that he would go up there and he'd become Mighty Mouse or some crap like that. But, I think that they're going to keep a good number of these guys down there. Not that they're not developed, but NXT is becoming a traveling brand. And if you start sending these guys, up already, you might lose a lot of fans that were like, I want to go to the show, but this person isn't going to be there. It's like if TNA was doing a house show a few years ago and, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles weren't on the card. you're not going to have that great of a deal. But I see Baylor getting the win in this and moving on, having his WrestleMania debut and joining the Monday Night Raw roster. Hopefully he'll get to do the big old painted up WrestleMania thing, but all the guys came out at the same time last year, so